All right, happy Wednesday. Can you guys believe it's already the end of May?
Yeah.
Just wild. Okay. Oh, forgot to put it from, oops. Let's start here. All right, so before I dive in, does anybody have any wins for this week? Any weight loss, any medication changes, any good choices that you made that you're proud of yourself for? Changing clothes, buying new clothes, fitting into
I
something you
did
had.
all my measurements after finishing the 12-week program, or sorry, yeah, the 12-week program. I had taken my measurements in the beginning, and let me see if I can find my sheet. I thought I had it right here. I I only lost 15 pounds, which is still good. As I've mentioned, I had a lot of stops and starts in the
Yeah.
program, but I lost 26 inches.
See, I love it when you guys can measure, in the beginning and then adding all that up because to me that's such encouragement. Like you're even the tone of your voice. "Oh, I only lost 15 pounds." I think you're discouraged with that, but 26 inches is a big deal, and that's most important. That's what
Right.
people don't see what the scale says, but people see what size we are if we're bigger or smaller. And our
I was
clothes
shocked.
know how they fit on us now that we're smaller. So that is a huge, huge, absolutely wonderful, wonderful win. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Okay.
Very cool. Well, today we're going to be talking about the supplements, and today specifically about the supplements well, if you're just starting the program, this is a good class for you to be starting with. I think I have some new people on here. And I'm going to go over all what the supplements that we've given you, what they're doing. Let me get my notes out. Better have that handy. Like, how come I don't have notes? I do. But I'm going to go over each and every one of them so you'll know exactly why, because I know there's a lot and I know it's kind of overwhelming and all of that. So anyway, our agenda today, we got some shout outs and some welcomes. We'll talk about the supplement industry, what's a waste of money, the supplement uses, and then I'll teach you some things that I learned about how to tell if certain things are quality. And then, of course, as usual, we will make some time for Q&A. So if you think of a question, either jot it down. You're certainly welcome to unmute yourself and ask in the middle. We still, I feel like it's not such a big group that it's just overwhelming and too many people. But if you want to go ahead and mute yourself, so if there's any background cars or dogs or people or whatever, but if you want to unmute and interrupt me, by all means, I'm happy to do that. So let me start out with a couple of shout outs. We got Joy down 20 pounds. Kim is down and she's been on vacation. Richard is down. He's very steadily doing the deal. Heidi in her first week is down 6.5 pounds. So that's very exciting. I'd like to shout out welcomes to Alphonse, Rebecca, Diane, Deborah, Scott and Laura, Stephanie, another Heidi, and Charlene. So welcome in. You're brand new. Welcome. If you've been with me for a while, welcome back. I love that my new people and my middle of the road people and my people that have been with me for a while still continue to join. And I think that's going to be what keeps you staying successful. Just stay plugged in, stay plugged in, stay plugged in. There's no reason, unless you can't make it, to not join at least once in a while. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the supplement industry. Let me get over. All right, so what do we got? 2000. Let's see, 2021. There was $254 billion spent on supplements. They're expecting 377 billion in 2026. 77% of Americans take at least one supplement. 57% of Americans 20 and up have used in the past 30 days. Overall usage goes up as age increases. I will definitely say that's true for me. I have an entire cabinet full of supplements, and I take quite the pile in the morning. And I'm sure I'll talk about some of those today. And 25% more women use supplements than men, which I thought was interesting, but that makes sense. We have more women clients, and I think generally speaking, but obviously not all men, but I think the women tend to be the leaders in the health, taking care of the family. So the women are buying the stuff. They might be sharing it with their families, their husbands or spouses. But I think it's the women that are kind of nurturing and taking care of families, which might be why more women are buying the supplements. Okay, so this goes back to this, just a few things. As some of you know, I used to own a vitamin store, and the lady that I bought it from, she was talking about that, she was teaching me about all the different, supplements, and there are millions and millions of supplements. Just when I went to the Natural Foods Expo to learn about the different companies, there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, how much you know, you'll never know all the companies. Because as minute as one goes out, 5 more pop up and open. So every time I went to those conventions, there was companies I'd never heard of, companies I had heard of, but they're just a million different protein bars, a million different, fish oils, a million different multivitamins and turmerics and all the things. So there are a lot. So, but what some of the things on the shelves, one of the first ones, the Garcinia cambogia, and Dr. Oz talked a lot about this. And there's some study that show that Garcinia can work, but I had people, and this was just my observation, and but I had people coming into my store buying it every month, and they would swear by it, but they weren't losing any weight, and nothing was changing. Now, that all being said, I think if you take some of these things combined with a really good meal plan and a really good exercise plan, they can help. But if you think you're just going to take some Garcinia cambogia and lose a bunch of weight, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's probably not going to happen. Forskolin is another Dr. Oz one. That one's also supposed to be a fat burner and tell your body to use fat instead of the carbs for energy. But again, she had a bunch on the shelf because Dr. Oz was talking about it. Everybody swarms in the store and they buy it until he comes up with his next thing. Another thing that was actually a really good seller in my store was these diet pills, and they were, I can't remember the name of it, but it was essentially like a speed. I mean, and it actually kind of hurt my heart to sell it, but I'm also in a business to make money. And there was some regulars that would buy these diet pills, and I would tell people before they bought it, like, if you have any heart condition, any high blood pressure, I would not recommend this. But for those people who wanted it regularly, they were so terrified that if they stopped taking these diet pills, they're going to eat their left arm and eat half the house, which might be true. When you severely restrict your food, your body, it's very smart, and it adapts, and it just slows the metabolism down. So the minute you go off these diet pills, then you feel hungry again and you want to eat, boom, your body is it's already turned down the dial on the calorie burning. So you're going to gain the weight, you're going to puff right up. So I do not encourage those diet pills that have your heart racing and have it to where you can't even eat. Like, I've, done all that as a teenager. I tried everything under the sun to lose weight when I was a young woman and a teenager. Yohimbe, same thing, pretty much just gives you the shakes, but I wouldn't recommend any of those, and certainly not all by themselves. Certainly not by themselves. All right, so some things that when you go to the vitamin store, you might want to be aware of. Vitamin K can reduce the effectiveness of blood thinners. The vitamin K can be a blood thickener. Ginkgo biloba, which is good for memory, but it can also increase blood thinning. So be aware of that if you're already on a blood thinner. There's side effects and a lot. I mean, I'm only going to hit about 5 of them today, but almost everything has some sort of side effect, especially herbs like ginkgo biloba. Herbs have many benefits and many side effects, some good and some not so good. You just got to do some due diligence and some homework to make sure that's going to be right for you. St. John's wort, which is great for lifting the mood for people with some slight depression, but it can make some drugs such as antidepressants and birth control less effective. Also, it takes weeks and weeks for this to actually start working, so be aware of that. And comfrey or kava, which is great for anxiety, but it can cause some liver damage. So I would be very careful with some of these different supplements. All right, so drum roll, are you ready? And I'm so excited. I got some new people on the call, so you guys are really going to want to hear this because we've given you all of these supplements. I want you to know why you're taking what you're taking. I know how overwhelming but just a pile of bottles like that can be, much less 2 of these and 4 of these, and it's just a lot. But once you understand why you're doing what you're doing, it might help you psychologically be able to take it a little bit better. So we'll start with number 1, the appetite appeaser. And I'm just going to read what the company has written about it, and I'll give you some other insights that I have. It's a natural formulation developed to balance blood sugars. Now, if you've ever heard me talk about the glycemic index and how balancing your blood sugars tells your body to be in a fat burning zone. So balancing your blood sugars is a huge thing for weight loss. So it helps balance the blood sugars, helping to appease the appetite and increase energy levels. It helps reduce nervous tension, eliminate hunger pains, and support the body's cleansing system. It promotes the metabolism of dangerous fat deposits that adhere to the heart and other vital organs. It can also be used alone or as a valuable aid to weight loss and cellulite removal. So there's that. There's a lot of different herbs in this particular supplement. But some of them, it does have some aminos in it, and it's got all 3 branched chain aminos, which is valine, leucine, and isoleucine. Branched chain aminos are the aminos that help you build muscle. The more lean muscle you have, the faster your metabolism goes. So this is going to be very helpful in turning the dial up and keeping and maintaining, and then maybe hopefully even gaining some lean muscle. It's got dandelion root in it, which is going to help clear your urinary tract. Hawthorn berry, which is very good for lowering your blood pressure. It's an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, helps reduce coronary vascular disease. Digestive enhancing properties, helps reduce blood pressure, and can increase blood flow. So that hawthorn berry is fabulous. And then it's got a whole bunch of different other supplements or herbs, I should say. Licorice root kelp, which is high in iodine, which is good for your thyroid. Tryptophan, which is very calming. Proline, which helps good for producing collagen in the skin. I could go on and on and on. That's the one thing you don't want to take later in the day because it can boost your energy levels. But there's a lot of good benefits to the appetite appeaser. All right, number 2, the body purifier. And I'll read what they tell you. This one can remove mucus and congestion, purify the bloodstream, cleanse the lymphatic system, fight bacteria, virus, yeast, mold, and worms, and removal of environmental chemicals and harmful food additives. This one also, it doesn't say it on what they have, but it's an immune booster. So this is something you want to, even after you're done with the program, you want to keep some body purifier on the shelf So the minute you feel a little scratch in your lungs, a little bit of a sore throat, you feel like you're coming down with something, take that body purifier, double up on what it says, and it should really, really shorten the length. The immune boosters that I sold at my store, the thing they all had in common, I'll share with you now, just so you have this stuff on your shelf. The sooner you feel like you're coming down with something, the sooner you take an immune booster, even if it's just vitamin C or emergency or zinc or vitamin D or body purifier or oregano oil or any of those things, the sooner you take it, the more effective it is. If you walk in and it's been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days and you've been coughing for that long, you're kind of screwed. You're going to have to you just ride it out through the duration. Nothing I could sell you at my vitamin store is going to help you at that point. So you want to keep a body purifier, things like zinc and vitamin C on your shelf. So the minute you feel something, load up on all of those things. But this one also has echinacea. It's another one that helps boost your immune. It has golden seal, another immune booster. Burdock seed, which is a natural diuretic and increased bowel movement. And red clover tops, which lowers cholesterol, kills bacteria, can regulate blood sugars. So this is just a really, really good thing to have on your shelf, even after you finish the program. All right, digestive enzymes provides a blend of natural digestive enzymes to supplement those provided by foods and the body itself, because we naturally make enzymes, but as we get older, we tend to not make as much. And what enzymes primarily do is they help the body break the food down so that we can absorb the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrients. If we're not breaking the food down, we're not going to absorb the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrients. So then we're not getting nourished, and then we don't feel good. So digestive enzymes are key. And this is something, the appetite appeaser and these digestive enzymes, you can take prior to food. The other one, well, and then the probiotics too, can be prior to food. Everything else you want with food. But it can help you absorb nutrients from your food, helps break down and absorb food, preventing gas. It restores natural energy, reduces allergies and arthritis, because it's breaking down all that stuff, and it can help promote weight control. This one's got ginger root in it, which is an anti-inflammatory as well. Dandelion root, enzymes, garlic, peppermint, which is real good for digestion as well. So definitely want to take that. And again, you can take that prior to your meal for better digestion. All right, next up we have the fiber. And the fiber primarily is there to cleanse the bowels, to, kind of push everything through. One thing I will say about the fiber, though, what the fiber can do, it can also go in there and swell. And the idea is to push the items through the colon and get them out. So if you don't have a really good digestive system, you might need to up your fiber. However, if you're taking too much fiber, or you have a lot of fiber already, if you're eating a lot of vegetables, which is where you're mostly going to get your fiber, it can go in there. It can go in there and swell and block. So if you find that you're getting a little too constipated on this program, especially if you're constipated during the cleanse when they double your fiber intake, you might want to cut back and don't do double, or cut it back even more. But technically, it can maximize efficiency without any calories. Fiber is a carbohydrate, but you don't count it at all. So if something had five grams of carbohydrate and it had 5 grams of fiber, it technically has 0 carbs. It can help overcome constipation, but like I said, it can cause it. Cleanse the bowels and intestines, stimulate natural action of intestines, promote intestinal canal from I can't say it, putrefacious and or pathogenic bacteria or cancer-causing agents, lower the cholesterol and triglyceride levels in the body, and also help diabetes, heart disease, gallbladder disorders, varicose veins, diverticulitis, and appendicitis. So again, it helps push all those toxins out as they go. It's primarily psyllium husk and bran. So that's pretty much all that's in that. But let me know, reach out to me if your bowels are too loose or your bowels are too firm or too hard or non-existent. Reach out to me and I'll help tweak some of your supplements. All right, intestinal cleanser. This is the one that's going to make you go for sure. So if you're telling me your bowels are too loose, this is the first one we're going to back off on. Let's see. This one is part of the complete detoxification program. This is temporary, replaces normal diet of food, utilizing the liquid food and cleansing supplements. Oh, it's talking about the cleanse. To detoxify the body and the body systems. Intestinal cleanser is an herbal bowel tonic that helps break down hard incrustation of waste for removal from the colon during detoxification, as well as on its own for effective and healthy elimination. It can help break down hard incrustation of waste, remove parasites and worms within the body, restore peristaltic action, which is like those little fingers within the intestines that help push your stuff through. It acts as an anti-inflammatory and anti-irritant for your joints and gastrointestinal tract. It can help lubricate the intestinal tract. So you can see why you're going extra when you take this stuff. Relieves gas and pains in the bowels and improve the function of the stomach and liver. And this has got things like cloves, which helps kill the parasites, marshmallow roots, which keeps things moving, ginger root, anti-inflammatory, butternut bark, which helps with parasites and constipation, yellow dock, which helps with constipation. So a lot of good herbals there, but you want to take this with food as well. All right, next up we have the multivitamin. Oh, Laura has a question.
I know this is gross, but you said it helps remove worms, and do you see worms?
I don't know. You might, but I think they're more microscopic. But it depends on what kind of parasite's going on in there.
I haven't heard of that before.
Cloves are known for that, to get rid of those parasites. So that's why if you can tolerate it, it makes you want to go to the bathroom a lot. Of course, that's good. Clean everything out. They say we have between 5 and 25 pounds of sludge that may have been in there for years, and it helps break down that hard stuff, again, that's been there for a long time. So if it doesn't give you too much of the runs, it's good, but you can always back off and take less or fewer, I should say. Great question. Thank you. All right, so multivitamin, let's see. This one can help boost energy. It helps cleanse the blood. It helps aid in the removal of free radicals. That is your anti-aging. We like that. Weight management, improvement of skin tone. It helps repair cells, again, anti-aging. It can help fight disease, improve digestion, and detoxify the body. And it's got all kinds of stuff in here. This is the multivitamin mineral is important and effective formula because of the chelation. This is the process by which mineral substances are changed into digestible form. Common mineral supplements such as bone meal and dolomite are often not chelated and must first be acted upon in the digestive process, form chelates before they are of use to the body. The natural chelating process is not performed efficiently in many people, and because of this, many of the mineral supplements they take are of little use. So you want it to be chelated for a better absorption and use. But it's got your vitamin A, D, E, Bs all lined up. I'm going to talk about those in a second. Magnesium, zinc, selenium. It's got some calcium. I can tell you right now, it doesn't have very much calcium because a calcium molecule is huge and you're only taking a very little pill. So if I'm not a big fan of calcium supplements per se, but it depends on you and your bone density and what your doctor has suggested. But this one has all kinds, but in addition to vitamins, it's got other herbs, chromium, which can help with sugar cravings, manganese, citrus bioflavonoids, that's good for your skin, anti-aging, rose hips, rutined, helps with bruising, iodine, which helps with your thyroid. There's a lot of good stuff in our multivitamin. All right, probiotic blend. Okay, so this one helps to maintain healthy intestinal activity. The function of the human digestive system is to convert the food that we eat into useful body fuel. A necessary and helpful contributor to a properly working digestive system is an abundant supply of friendly bacteria. This blend contains 4 friendly bacteria for this purpose. And what's good about this one in particular that I don't know any other company does is when these probiotics go into the belly, which is why I say take it prior to food. When it goes into the belly, there's what's called stomach acid or hydrochloric acid in the tummy. It's released. And that can break down some of the probiotics that you might take that you bought on the market somewhere else. But what's good about ours is it's coated in a beeswax, which keeps it safe from that hydrochloric acid. So the second it gets into the intestines, which is where it will thrive and where it will form the colony forming units, is in the intestines. That's why we should have it first. But that beeswax will not. It protects it from that acid in the stomach. Let's see, this is an effective alternative to all candida prescription drugs. It causes no side effects. This formula is patient tested and proven effective in chiropractic and wellness clinics, and is enterically coated to survive the acidity in the stomach. And again, it's enterically coated with that beeswax. This one has 20 billion units per serving, 10 billion per capsule. What it helps to do, helps intestinal activity, takes over, prevent the takeover by more harmful bad bacteria and microorganisms. It helps prevent bad breath, gas, and bloating, and improve overall health and of the skin by combating harmful bacteria. Also, this can really help with your immune system. It doesn't say that here, but I know if your gut is healthy and right, your immune system is better. If you get sick a lot, your gut is probably off. If you have anxiety or depression, your gut is probably off. It's not just gas and bloating that are symptoms. There's a lot of other symptoms. This has a lot of, like I said, it's got acidophilus, lactobacillus, vitamin C, biotin, beta carotene, garlic, barberry root, which is an anti-inflammatory, helps with the liver and gallbladder and urinary tract. So definitely, I would say keep taking this after you finish as well. All right, vitamin D. Studies have shown that the adequate amounts of vitamin D in the body can decrease the risk of disease such as cancers, osteoporosis, depression, Alzheimer's, and many others. Our vitamin D is an easily absorbed liquid gel form. It strengthens bones, lowers your risk of disease and infection. When COVID first came out, man, I was powering down the vitamin D and zinc. And I did get COVID, but I was blessed. I mean, I was on the couch one day, but I was still working out most of the other days. So I think I really did myself a favor with that. Also can help boost your immune system and decrease cognitive decline with aging. So who doesn't want that? So take your vitamin D. And most Americans, we're short on vitamin D. We wear sunscreen and we go straight from the car to the house where the air conditioning is, or we stay in the shade. So if you can get out in the morning and just get 10 minutes of morning sunshine, that has a lot of different benefits. I'll be talking about that in a few weeks coming up. But it also helps regulate your sleep. If you start your day with sunshine in the morning, that's a good time to get out there and write your gratitudes, do some journaling, maybe your prayer meditation time. Do it outside. Right now we have a good weather for it if you wake up early enough. Or if well, I'm in Arizona, so I don't know what you guys are. But right now, I think we have perfect morning weather. So, all right. And last but not least, the nutritional shake. Now, these come in both whey, spelled W-H-E-Y, which comes from cow's milk, but it's lactose free. So even if you're lactose intolerant, you should be able to tolerate it. But we also have, excuse me, a vegan one option now. That's fairly new. We've had it for a little while, but these they come in chocolate and vanilla. I would say get it unless you don't like chocolate. I would say get both, because the vanilla one you can play with later. You can add strawberries, you can add, cacao, you can add certain things to it. But chocolate is really, really delicious. And I make my fudgesicles with my chocolate protein powder. I just pour them into a popsicle tray, a popsicle mold thing, and put it in the freezer, and it's delicious. All right, so this one mixes easy. There's no artificial sweeteners. It's lactose, soy, casein, and gluten-free, candida friendly, faster weight loss, increased health, and optimal daily nutrition. Let's see. Yeah, so it's got a bunch of vitamins in it. It's got some minerals in it. It's got CLA. Scott has a question, if you want to unmute.
Yeah, I was on the store yesterday and they have mocha and strawberry and other flavors, so we can't do those for the original. They're just some vanilla and chocolate.
I thought they discontinued them
I don't. They may have. They're still in the store.
in our office.
The store that it directs you to off the website.
Oh, the online store. Oh,
Mhm.
you can absolutely get those if you want, if they still have them. I just thought they discontinued it.
I
Because
don't know.
they used to have mocha, they used to have strawberry. I know they discontinued the orange, which was my favorite.
Yeah,
That
like
was like
orange or something.
yeah, it was like dreamsicle. And now those were good in the freezer too. You add a little
Mhm.
coconut milk to that. Oh my goodness.
I bought just before I left Arizona, I bought mocha and strawberry also at the doctor's office.
Okay. So
But
yeah,
they told me I couldn't buy the individual packs anymore.
yeah, that I think they discontinued, or else they just stopped buying them for the office. I'm not sure. I
I
mean,
don't
those
think
are
you can get them.
so handy for travel. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, looks like Laura has her hand up. Laura?
So Karen, what are your favorite flavors?
Oh, I like them all. I use for a shake in the morning and put real strawberries in with mine, and I use the vanilla a lot because I do Dr. Infantino's pancakes, and that calls for vanilla. And I also I use vanilla and strawberry probably the most. But then I like the chocolate and the mocha too. To me they taste really good.
I would think
Maybe
strawberry would be a good pancake one too.
Yeah.
I haven't
Strawberry-
tried that one though.
maybe Scott, you should trade yours for strawberry and mocha, and I'll get the vanilla and chocolate, and then we'll have all four.
Um, Well, I think Laura, your guys' stuff is probably at this point already shipped.
Oh, it is? Oh.
I don't
okay.
know, but if you have Debbie's
It
contact
is.
information.
It is.
Oh, it's on the way already. That's okay. We'll just get some more.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell me how many, are they all the same as far as the grams of protein in each? And how many calories are typically in those, and those count towards your daily calories?
Absolutely. Everything you put in your mouth counts. So if you're drinking
Okay.
something that has calories, it counts. If you're putting salad dressing, it counts. If you're cooking in an oil or butter, it counts.
Okay.
So as far as cooking goes, if you use 2 tablespoons of oil to cook your chicken in, I would count 1 because half of it's going to stay in the pan. But the
Okay.
chicken will absorb some. So, and that's not rocket science. It's not an exact science, but I know it absorbs some and leaves some. So,
Yeah.
but as far as the whey protein one, that one has 20 grams of protein for 2 scoops, and 2 scoops is 171 calories. Now, if you're going through the book and the book says something about a snack shake, all that means is it's 1 scoop.
Yeah.
If you have a meal shake, then it's 2 scoops. That all being said, if you got the vegan one, 1 scoop is a full serving of 20 grams of protein. I don't know how the heck they do that because plant protein is lower in protein. So it seems to me it would be more doubled. So I don't know how that works, but I haven't tried the vegan one myself. Typically in general, no, I haven't tried our vegan one. I've tried our whey ones and they're delicious, I think. But usually, having had a vitamin store and people bring me samples, vegan proteins can be a little chalky because they're often made with pea protein, which can be a little bit chalky. But some are pretty good. And if you don't want to have any animal products in your body, that's a great way to go because you're going to need a protein supplement. You need to get that protein in. But
Tammy?
ours, yes.
With mine, I know you've mentioned before, try to get vegetables in with every meal. So if I do the vanilla shake, I've done the strawberry as well. In the morning, I put frozen kale, frozen spinach, frozen avocado, and it still just tastes like a milkshake. I mean, it still has a very sweet, and if depending on how much ice you put in, I put coconut water in with it, counting everything along the way. But it's really like having a really delicious shake, and it gets your vegetables in, your morning vegetables, I guess.
I couldn't agree with that more. I think that's great. I think that's fabulous. And it's a great way to get your veggies in. And that avocado, everybody tells me if they put avocado in their shake, it makes it so much more creamier. So, and if you want it sweeter, add less water or ice. If it's too sweet, add more water or ice. So you can control that. People say, how much water? It's like, how much water do you want in there? What do you want it to taste like? Because water isn't going to count for calories. So if it's watered down and it's less sweet, you prefer it that way, good. If it's, less water, but it's thick and delicious and sweet how you like it, then that's great too. Rhonda says, I ordered by mistake the vegan and it does taste a little different than the regular to me. It's so much better. So someone else is kind of verifying what I said about the vegan. Also looks like Scott has his hand up.
Yeah, things like it just came to my mind when you talked about adding water to the shake. Does that count for your water intake, or is that separate?
So my theory, my thought process is, I'd like to see you get. Well, you're up to a gallon. I think we are.
Yeah, I'm a little over.
So if you're finding that you're not hitting your full gallon, then I would say, because it's a psychological thing, go ahead and count it, because at the end of the day, you feel like you were successful. If at the end of every day, you're like, man, I screwed up again. Man, I didn't make it. Man, I failed. Man, I didn't make it. Like if you have failure every day, or what feels like failure every day, it's discouraging for you. So I want you to feel encouraged. So if adding that and counting that as part of your water helps you cross that finish line of I did it, I got all my water in, great. And then from there, work on getting, more and more water. But as you lose weight, you won't have to have that full gallon as well. So
Yeah,
that number will come down. Plus, you're gonna
Yeah.
get more versed at it, more practiced at it, like having that gallon jug on your kitchen counter or wherever you can see it. Make sure, okay, if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and only this much is gone, we know we're in trouble. So keep it out where you can see it, where it's visual. Like we talked about last week, atomic habits. Make it easy. So if it's a visual cue for you, a visual trigger, oh my gosh, full gallon of water and it's 3, 4, 5 o'clock. That's a visual cue. But as you get better at getting all your water in, then maybe you won't count it. So that's my thought process on counting.
Okay, I had another water question as well. In the manual, it talks about using distilled water. Doesn't that eliminate some of the minerals in the water?
It does. So great question. Really great question. Love these questions. So during the cleanse, we suggest the distilled water because it has nothing in it. And my analogy is, if you were to go grocery shopping for an entire week full of groceries, you push your grocery cart out to the car, you open up the trunk to prepare to put all those groceries in the trunk, and you realize you forgot you left your suitcases in the trunk for last week's trip or whatever. The trunk is kind of full of your stuff. You're going to find a way to fit those groceries in. You just will. But if that trunk was completely empty, it would be a lot easier. So during the cleanse, when you're drinking water that's completely empty, there's a lot more room for those toxins to hop in and get out. So that's kind of the analogy to that. Now, that being said, when you get it back on regular program, you can have the reverse osmosis that adds minerals or, the pH water or drinking water, filtered water. You can have you can add minerals to your water. You can absolutely do that.
Okay, so the cleanse is the whole 12 weeks, right? You're not talking about the detox part.
I'm
You're
sorry,
talking about
say that again.
when you refer to the cleanse, you're talking about the whole 12 weeks, not just the detox part.
The distilled water for the detox part. The
No,
other
when
waters,
you just said the cleanse. You're talking about the whole 12 weeks?
no,
No.
the day 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then the second cleanse is, I think, 29
So
or
that's
something.
So
detox.
that's the detox.
The
detox
detox.
time. So then when
Yeah.
you say the cleanse, you're talking about the detox time.
Yes.
Okay, so
The
I got
liquid
you.
only part. How about this? The liquid only part.
you use
Okay.
distilled water on the liquid only part. Otherwise, because we have a Brita, is a Brita okay to use?
Yes. Yes.
So with our regular water every day, we just use our Brita.
Yes.
Got that.
Someone's asking how many IUs of vitamin D per day. I would say between 4 and 5,000. Good question, Pat. All right. So, also one thing, last thing I want to mention on these protein shakes is they also have branched chain aminos. They have the isoleucine, the leucine, and the valine. And it's got the proline, it's got lysine, it's got, arginine, really good stuff in here. So these are good quality shakes. They're naturally sweetened. And I think they taste really good. So that's the skinny on the vitamins for the program as you signed up. Now,
Sorry.
looks like Laura, are you asking
Yeah.
a question?
I
Or
do have another question. I'm going to the doctor's today, and they're going to have me do blood work. It's like my yearly. So it's my first, so it's kind of like a base for me.
I'm so excited you're doing that. I love
But
it.
what should I be specifically asking them to do for blood work? Is there anything specific?
I would love to know like any kind of triglyceride or cholesterol levels. Obviously, you want to know your blood pressure,
So triglyceride, and you said what else?
cholesterol, blood sugars is they'll probably check that. But if you're going today and you've already eaten,
I haven't eaten. I purposely didn't eat.
Oh, okay, so tell them, if you tell them you fasted, then they can check your blood sugars that way too.
Okay.
So that's a good, so if we get it to the end of 12 weeks and your cholesterol's down, your triglycerides are down, your blood sugars are normalized, your blood pressure is normalized. All of those are things that I see very commonly of people going through the program. So,
Okay. So like they'll do like the fatty liver, the thyroid, all of those too.
yeah, oh, absolutely. The doctors usually have their standard stuff, but if they're testing for fatty liver, that would be great.
Well,
And
there's, yeah,
by
I'm
the
just,
way, it can be reversed as long as you don't let it go too far.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're, I just thought, well, since I'm doing this, it's good timing. I'm gonna have them.
I love that. I love that for you because now you'll have a really good, this is my starting numbers. And then if you can have it done in 3 months from now, that would be so awesome. I don't know if your insurance covers all that, but it would be great.
It probably won't, but at least like if I'm down weight and everything and I have this for this is where I started. And then it can only
Yeah.
get better.
Yeah. Awesome. Good.
I
And
had another question, if I could.
yeah,
You mentioned on some of the supplements earlier that they help to lower blood pressure. And Lasix also does that. I'm on that. Is that going to be an issue?
it could
I've been
be.
told.
It could
Been
be.
told that.
So do you have a blood pressure cuff at home?
I do.
So what I would suggest is if you get in this program after a few weeks or so, and if you feel like you're getting any kind of lightheaded or dizziness, check your blood pressure because what can happen is we're bringing it down naturally. Now it's these things like hawthorn berry that are lowering blood pressure. It's not like there's massive amounts in all of these things. It's a little bit, but it's every little bit helps. It's in a few of these. So we're naturally going to be lowering. So what happens next is then you go back to your prescribing doctor and you say, look, I think I'm naturally lowering my blood pressure because now it's 100 over 60. And so they might lessen or eliminate your blood pressure medication. I see that all the time. So it's a good thing. This is what we want. We want to eventually get off those blood pressure medications.
It's not blood pressure medicine necessarily. It's Lasix for what do they call it? Lymphedema.
Diuretic.
Yeah, diuretic.
Oh,
Yeah, but it also affects your blood pressure. That's why I was actually on a as needed low dose of metoprolol. I have what's called white coat syndrome. I go to the doctor, my blood pressure goes up.
gotcha. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Really, that would be a good question for Dr. Infantino because I am not a doctor. I'm a nutrition coach.
Mhm.
And so as far as medications, I can't, I'm not even legally allowed to guess or tell you what I think.
Right.
Honest. So you would better off to go to your prescribing doctor and just send Dr. Infantino an email and let him know ask him what he thinks. Because
Okay.
he'll probably know a lot more about Lasix than I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Good questions, guys. Really great questions. All right. All right. So next up, I thought I would go over a few things. When you're going to any store. Scott, do you have another question or is that just an old hand raised?
I was lowering my hand, but I realized I already did that. So I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right. So I wish maybe if I had one. So when you're buying a protein powder, obviously you want to look at your ingredients. What's it sweetened with? Did it come from a grass-fed cow? Is it a high heat processed? You don't want that. You don't want high heat processed. But when you're looking at your labels on your protein powder, it'll say a serving size is, say it says 40 grams, and it'll say 1 scoop or 2 scoops or whatever it says. because I'm not talking specifically about our brand. I'm talking about if you're just going in blind, you go into a vitamin store in some random little town USA, wherever, whatever state, and you're trying to figure out how to figure out your protein powder. You look at the grams and it says a serving size is 40 grams, which is 2 scoops or whatever it says. But then you look how much protein. So if it has 20 grams of protein, you know that half of what's in that jug or in that container is something else. It's filler, which may or may not be a bad thing. You want to look at your ingredients. So yeah, you want a little cocoa powder in there. You want a little sweetener in there. Maybe they've added some certain vitamins or minerals or nutrients to enhance it or something. But if it's a whole lot of grams, if it's 50 or 60 grams for a serving, but you're only getting 15 or 20 grams of protein, you know that there's a whole lot of filler in there. But that's what you're looking for when you're buying a protein powder. When you're buying a fish oil, now I recommend fish oil. Fish oil is where you get your omega-3s. You can get some from plant-based things like flaxseed, but it's not the same. It's not the same for your brain, and it's not the same for your heart. And it's not as anti-inflammatory as the omega-3 from fish oil. So the same thing, you want to look at the nutrition. So on the front of the bottle, typically it will say, and this is just a common number, so I'm just going to spell that out. Could be, they could say anything. It'll say 1,000 milligrams of fish oil. Okay, that means 0, nada, nothing. What you really want to know is how many milligrams of omega-3. I don't care how much fish oil, it's how much omega-3. So if it's 1,000 milligrams of fish oil, but it only has 200 milligrams of omega-3, we know it has 800 milligrams of filler. That might be good if they've added other vitamins. I was taking a fish oil from this other company, and they had added astaxanthin, which is good for connective tissue and vision, zeaxanthin. They added some other things. So that's not a terrible thing. But generally speaking, you want your omega-3 number to be closer to how much fish oil is actually in there. Might be a little difference because they've added a little lemon essence so you don't get the fish burps or whatever the case may be. But if you're looking at your labels, you want your omega-3s to be closer to how much fish oil's in there. That's how you're going to know it's quality. I had in my vitamin store, I had a $6 bottle and I had a $60 bottle. But in doing the math, we literally would have to take the entire bottle of the $6 one to get what was in one of the pills of the $60 one. So sometimes you really do get often you really do get what you pay for. This one was really good quality. There was no filler. It was all omega-3, a big seller, even as expensive as it was a very big, good seller. Another thing you want to look for, number 3 here, is serving size. I bought this brain formula. And, I was taking this course online and I was hoping to stimulate any kind of learning better, have better focus, better memory, better retention, learning, just, me and my supplements. I was looking for the next thing. So I brought this brain formula and it was really expensive. But I thought, well, it's worth it. I want to take this course. I want to get the most out of it that I can. But then I looked at the serving size. Now I've already purchased it. I already spent the money. I've already opened it and taken some of it. But then I realized with the serving size, I had to take 6 pills. That thing was going to last me 2 weeks, not an entire month. So I spent, I don't know, 50, 60 bucks on the bottle. I forget what I spent, but it was only going to last me 2 weeks. So pay attention to that so you know kind of what you're getting as far as that goes. The next one, when you are buying a B vitamins and you look for a vitamin B12, B12, there's a couple of different versions of it. There's a cinacobalamin, which is a very cheap cheap way to go. So if it's got cinnacobalmin, that tells me a little bit something about the company that's put together that blend. If it's a blend of things, sometimes it is just B12, sometimes it's a B vitamin complex, and sometimes it's a multivitamin of sorts. But if I see that their B12 is cinnacobalmin, I know that they're cutting corners. The methacobalamin is the one that we need that's the most absorbable. So is it going to cost more? Yes, it does, like everything else, like the quality. Like, if, say, how much is a car? Well, I don't know. Is it a Volkswagen or is it a Ferrari? You're going to get what you pay for. The Ferrari is going to have a lot of different bells and whistles. Volkswagen might not. But that word, just remember, it starts with an M, because that's a long word. It took me a long time to learn even how to say it. When you're buying vitamin C at the vitamin store, you want to look for vitamin C ascorbate, not ascorbic. Ascorbic is probably the most common, but it's cheaper. And there you have it, folks. It's cheaper. So that's why they use it. It's better than nothing. If you feel like you're coming down with something, take your vitamin C. If you've got it in your cabinet, take it. But to buy the quality, you want to go with ascorbate. And then CoQ10, which is good for your energy. It's good for cardiovascular. Let's see, prevention of blood clots, regulates blood sugars. It's a good antioxidant. It can increase energy. It reduces free radicals, which is your anti-aging. It can help decrease skin and muscular damage. However, the more active and bioavailable version of it is called ubiquinol. And they're usually right next to each other on the shelf at the vitamin store. But the ubiquinol is the more active version. So your body doesn't have to do all these conversions of the CoQ10 so that it can finally just use it. The ubiquinol is the one that's far more absorbable and bioavailable. So those are some little tips on buying your supplements. Scott, it looks like your hand is up again. Did you have another question? Did Scott leave the building?
No, I just was
Oh,
sitting.
I didn't see your
sitting in my
name on there.
calendar while so I was in another field. No, I just lowered it. I don't know what button I'm pushing these days.
No worries. Laura, looks like your hand's up.
He pushes my buttons all the time. So we want to go with the ubiquinol is what we want to get, is what you're saying.
If you're going to buy that product, I'm not recommending it or not recommending it. I think it's great if you can afford to get some of these things, but given the choice, CoQ10 or ubiquinol, I would say get the ubiquinol because that's the most bioavailable. Your body doesn't have to do a bunch of stuff and do all the work to get it to turn it into what it needs, and it's going to be less. So you're going to get a better effect and better benefit from the ubiquinol.
Okay.
Okay, so here on the right of the screen, I've got my email address. And then also the tammy.drinfantino.com is my scheduling link. So when you're ready to book your first or second or third or whatever, one-on-one coaching call, you can use that. The link has been disabled. I don't know what's happening, but it's really giving us some trouble. You can also use, and just type this in the URL, you can put either tammy.drinfantino.com, or if that doesn't work, if it's still disabled, sometimes it says page can't be found. Try onboarding.drinfantino.com. That seemed to work this morning. So either way, you should be able to get in there and fill out or book your one-on-one or fill out your check-in sheet and do all that stuff. Hopefully. So that's all I have for today. Does anybody have any questions? Oh my gosh, it's already 1 o'clock. Wow.
I have a question, a fast question. I've done now with my jump start and I took my supplements during that. As of lunchtime today, I'm completely out of them. Should I go back now to my 12-week supplements?
Yeah, I would encourage that.
Okay. I've got them, so I will start doing that
Wonderful.
tomorrow morning then.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anybody else?
Can I ask Karen how long she's been doing this then?
I think I'm on day 133.
Wow. And you've seen lots of progress then.
Well, I think I have. I'm still working on it, but yeah, I've seen progress. My blood sugar numbers, I'm taking a lot less insulin than I was. I'm still taking insulin, but I am taking a lot less, and I've lost weight, and it's a work in progress, I guess.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't discredit yourself, Karen. You've done a lot. You came in with some big numbers on your blood sugars. So what you've done is pretty successful, I'd say. And just keep hanging in there, keep hanging in there. And because of some conditions, it's a little harder for you to lose weight, and you've still done it.
Yeah.
So you've
Yeah,
done a great job.
Thank you. Well, my endocrinologist was very pleased. She says your A1C is just one number out of your whole thing, and she said she was more impressed with the fact that I was in my number range for 70% of the time since I've been back to her last November than I have been. So she was impressed with that and the fact that I could lose some weight. So she said she wasn't worried at all about my A1C. She says that's just a small part of your blood sugar.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
See, because she was not giving herself enough credit.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's amazing.
Anybody else?
I do take blood pressure medicine too, but I've been taking my blood pressure every single morning. And to be honest, I don't know why I'm taking blood pressure medicine because my blood pressure is really good condition. I don't ever have high blood pressure in the mornings.
So you might want to just discuss with your doctor, give him the numbers that you have, give him a week's worth or a period of time. He'll ask you, I guess, and ask him what they think. Whoever prescribes your blood pressure medication, because Dr. Infantino can't unprescribe something somebody else has prescribed you.
Correct. Uh-huh.
First of all, it's just he's not allowed to do that. But you might, because like what we were talking with Scott earlier, once it starts getting lower and you're still taking something that's going to lower blood pressure, some people go too low and then they get lightheaded and dizzy. So just keep tracking it. Because if you're getting lightheaded and dizzy and it's too low, then you need to cut something out, but you need to let your doctor know.
Yeah. Okay.
And even if you're just cutting the pill in half, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I have another question. What do you think about the preparing meals to put in the freezer that you can take out and put in the crock pot then?
Oh, I'm a big fan of that. I do that.
I'm gonna go do it.
So
I'm
every
gonna
time
start
I
doing
make
it.
my meal prep, like this week I made a chicken and broccoli. It's a creamy chicken and broccoli, and I just used some coconut milk and garlic and onion and broccoli, and I threw some sun-dried tomatoes and peas and carrots in there just for kind of color. But I made a boatload of it. So that's what I've been noshing on all week. But then I take another portion and put it in the freezer. So, and then I have a chili from the week before, and then I have an enchilada stew from the week before. So next Sunday, I don't even have to meal prep. I just pull all three of those out and I'm good.
Most of these meal prep though, that you don't cook them until you put them in the crock pot to cook then.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
You
Yes.
freeze them first and then you just pull them out the night before and put them in the crock pot that morning and they're ready for supper then that night or dinner that night.
That's wonderful.
Okay, I'm headed to the grocery store later to do that.
Yes, and you do that once, so you'll make it 3 times. So maybe once a month you pull it out, and now you have a whole meal already made. And then you put, oh, that's a great idea. I am all for that.
Okay.
Life should be easy. We don't need to spend all day in the kitchen.
Okay, I'm gonna try that then. I copied down some recipes, some chicken recipes, and I copied down a beef stew that besides the beef, everything else looked like stuff I could have, the chicken broth and the vegetables and everything, but you know, it said that it made 4 servings and you just put it all in this pot or this freezer bag and then you put it in the crock pot when you're
Sounds
ready to
good.
eat it.
Sounds great. That's a great thing to do, to have like when you go on vacation. So when you come home, you pull it out and you, like the next day you're unpacking, you're unsettling in, and you already have a meal made.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
Or if you know you're going to be gone for 2 days, put it in the refrigerator. So when you get home, it's already defrosted. And just put it in the crock pot there.
Yeah. Yep. I'm
Excellent.
excited to try some of them.
I'm excited to hear about it. All right, guys, I gotta head out like a baby, leave like a tree, split like a banana.
Thank you.
Oh, I got one.
Yep.
I got a final parting joke. Oh, let me see if I can remember it. Do you know what vitamin is best for friendship?
No.
Drum roll. B1.
Uh,
B1.
B1. B1, be a friend.
Yes,
That's cute.
like vitamin
like it.
B1, be a friend. Okay.
Yeah, that's cute. I like it.
And with
Awesome.
that, I'm out.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
thanks.
Thank you.